Hey guys, some of you would have seen the video we made this week about the American style diner, and there was a bit of more to that story that wasn't included in that because that story was about the diner. But what actually happened before that was one of our friends had said, oh, you should go and check out this American diner, it's really cool, and the hamburgers are yummy. So I was like, yeah, okay. So we had a look on Facebook and had a look at the images, and it was really impressive, you know, amazing images of the place and amazing images of the food. And oh, that looks all really good. So I thought, okay. So I actually sent the guy, because I noticed he had a copy of his menu there that had some pretty funny English on it, so lots of Japanglish on it, but it was good enough, you know, it was good enough that you could go there without being able to speak Japanese and sit there and look at the menu and see what was there and point to it and, you know, one of these. And that's our prerequisite for English, the English Friendly Directory, is that if a person can do business, you know, if a person can be a customer of that business without using any Japanese, then they're English friendly. They get 3 stars if the staff can speak English, and they get 2 stars if the staff can't speak English, but they can, you know, still do their thing without speaking Japanese. So, you know, okay, this business is actually English friendly. So I sent him an email and said, you know, we're going to come and have lunch at your restaurant, and just want to know if you can, or if any of your staff can speak English. That was the first email. Just want to know if any of your staff can speak English, and he didn't answer. Right. So okay, that's not unusual for Japanese businesses. You know, if you send them an email in English, quite often they won't answer. So send him another one in Japanese, saying the same thing, that, you know, we're going to come have lunch. So okay, so at this point we're a customer, right? We're going to come have lunch in your restaurant, and just want to know if any of your staff can speak English. So the idea was to break the ice and then ask him, okay, look, we want to come make a video at your restaurant, and then we want to tell our viewers all about you. So, you know, we're going to offer him a free listing on our directory. This is our standard. This is how we do it usually. If we're going somewhere and there's some English friendly place, this is what we do. We tell them we're coming, then we go, we make a video, and we give them a free listing on the directory. And then when we make the video, we tell you guys about it, because that's why the directory started. That's how the directory started, because 10 years ago, when we made videos about places like that, always people would leave comments and saying, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right? So that's what started it. That, and the fact that people used to send us emails and say, do you know an English friendly doctor in Tokyo? Or do you know an English friendly dentist in Tokyo? Or, you know, do you know an accountant in Nagoya? Or, you know, that's what set us off on the English friendly directory in the first place, right? So I sent him 2 emails and no answer. So, all right, okay, that's all right. That's not unusual for Japanese businesses. So okay, so turned up, and this is over a period of a couple of weeks, right? So finally, you know, last week, finally turned up there, and walked in the door, and took some video outside, took some video in the entrance, and then walked in, and the staff greeted us, you know, there, and you know, come this way. And I spotted him, there was a counter there, and I spotted him behind the counter. And I sort of, you know, when you see someone, you go, oh, and because I'd seen pictures of him on Facebook. So I was like, oh, there's the boss. And so I sort of raised my hand to him and sort of was going to say something to him in Japanese, because I was speaking Japanese to the staff, and he could hear us, you know, he could hear, she greeted, and I said, yeah, 2 of us, and is it okay to sit up there? And yeah. And so we had the usual conversation you have when you walk into a Japanese restaurant, in Japanese, and he heard that, so he knew I was speaking Japanese. So I was about to say to him, oh, konnichiwa, you know, and I sort of raised my hand up to him and started, and he just turned and walked around the corner, went around the corner, like hid round the corner basically, ducked round the corner is probably how you'd say it, sort of whoop, out of sight, right? Oh, okay, so we went and sat at our table, and we you know, looked at the menu, and I shot some more video that you guys saw, and then ordered, and we ate lunch, and it was really good. And I said to the girl, when the girl came around, when the lady came around to serve us, you know, and when she came to take the plates, that was excellent. And I said, this place is great, you know, he did a good job of this place. And I wanted to tell him the same thing, you know. And so as we were leaving, I went round past the counter, And he was there again, and I did the same thing. I was about to say to him in Japanese, you know, this place is great, you did a really good job, and that food was excellent. That was my plan. And the same thing, he sort of put round the corner, out behind the wall, just disappeared. And I was like, and even my wife said, you know, that's it, you know, why? She said to me, quietly to me, she said, why? Because she knew what I was about to do. I was about to say, you know, good job on the place and good food. And he sort of ducked around the corner, and even to her it was a bit weird, you know, because we're a customer, right? And the owner of the joint hiding from the customers is pretty weird. He also did, there was some other customers that were sitting closer to the counter than we were, and he did have a brief exchange with the guy, obviously Japanese people, right? And he did have a brief exchange with that customer, you know, sort of a friendly joking about something exchange. So it's not like he doesn't talk to people, you know. It's just he didn't talk to these people, this person, basically. He didn't talk to me. So it's not unusual and it's not surprising, you know. I mean, we get this sort of every week, really, because with the English Friendly directory, what we do is, so for example, you guys that saw all the stuff we did about Huckabah. So, you know, that nice guy that owns Huckabah Holidays that invited us up there, you know, he said, come on up. You know, there's no one here at the moment. Come on up and we'll give you somewhere to stay and you can have a holiday on us. You know, he started that Huckabah plan by offering us that place to stay. So before we went up, we got on the net and we were researching up places that we could eat and, you know, things that we could do up there that were English friendly, and sending them emails, right? So for example, there was the other guy that was the Pete's Cafe, Lucky Pete's Cafe in Huckabah, where we got the pizza. So you guys saw that video. So we sent that guy an email and said to him, we're coming to Huckabah, we're going to be having a bit of a holiday, but we're going to be looking for English friendly businesses while we're there that we can tell our viewers about, you know, when we come back to come back home. And he, oh yeah, great, you know, and this is the usual reaction we get when we contact business owners that are not Japanese, who have businesses in Japan. So, you know, an expat business owner. So when we contact an English guy or an Aussie guy or an American guy or Canadian guy or French guy or German guy who owns a business in Japan, usually that's the reaction we get. You know, quite often they've never heard of us, but they have a look at our YouTube channel and they have a look at our social media and they have a look at the English Friendly directory and they come back and go, yeah, that looks interesting. Yeah, what do we need to do? You know, what do you want from us, sort of thing. And usually we don't want much. Usually we start off by just saying to them, well, we'll just come and check you out, you know. And so that's what we did. So with the Lucky Pete's guy, we just turned up there one night and said, g'day, how you going? And we bought a pizza off him at a slightly discounted rate. Full disclosure here, he did give us a discount on the pizza, but we bought a pizza off him and then we took it back and made a video of it and ate it and then told you guys about it, right? So it works really well. It works really well because, you know, the original purpose of the directory was as a business, but it was actually set off by the Tohoku disaster. And so our goal is, obviously, you know, it's our main job, really. It's our real job, so we need to make money from it. But the goal of the directory is to help English-speaking people in Japan connect with businesses that can look after them. And the side effect of that is it gets new customers for those businesses. So everyone wins. That's the way that sort of works out, you know. So usually the reaction we get is quite positive. But the purpose of this video is to talk about the Japanese reaction. So that's the Western reaction. That's the non-Japanese reaction. People go, oh wow, that sounds like, you know, I haven't done that before. Let's give that a try. That sounds like a good idea. You know, sometimes they're not keen. The cost of those listings is $100 a year. It's Ichiman a year. And not everybody's keen to do that straight away, and that's fair enough. We go, that's fine, and we usually give them a free listing for a year, and you know, they see that they get good value from it, and then most of them decide then to pay $100 a year for those listings, you know. But whether they do or not doesn't matter. We start off by just, you know, checking them out, finding out if they're good, finding out if their service is good and they look after people, and then telling you guys about them. And that's what we do. And if they never pay us any money, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. It's not conditional on them paying money, which you guys already know. So having said all that, the Japanese reaction is totally different. You know, where the foreigners, the Westerners will say, you know, oh, that's an interesting idea, we'll give that a go, you know, we'll try that. The Japanese reaction is usually no response at all. So actually here's a good example, is in Hakuba, there was a Mexican restaurant, and we sent them a couple of emails before we went to Hakuba as well, and said, we're coming to Hakuba and we want to come check out your restaurant. And probably 2 or 3 emails to those guys, no response. And that's quite normal. That's quite a normal thing when you send emails to Japanese companies, is no response. And in English or Japanese, you send them an email in English or Japanese. Now, that keeping in mind, they do know when I send an email in Japanese, they know I'm not Japanese, because probably the Japanese isn't perfect, but also because of my name. Because of my name, they know I'm a foreigner. And quite often they just don't answer. And that, whether that's as a representative of English Friendly Japan or the Japan channel, or just as a customer sending an email, quite often I don't get an answer. Quite normal. And that surprises some people, because, you know, that Japan has a reputation for good customer service and looking after customers, but not answering emails from foreigners is really, really common. And that's another reason that we really enthusiastic about the English Friendly directory, is because the businesses on there are foreigner friendly as well. You know, if you send those guys an email, they will answer you, you know. And it's really common, those of you who live in Japan will be sitting there nodding at this. It's really, really common that you try and talk to a Japanese company and they just won't answer you. They just don't answer. You know, quite often they just don't answer. And even if you're a customer, you know, and you know, I've sent emails to hotels before that we got bad service, and sent email to the boss, and you know, I'm not happy with the service that we got at your hotel, and just no answer. Just don't answer, you know. So this Mexican restaurant owner, Japanese guy, didn't answer. So 3 emails, didn't answer. So we turned up there one night, and they had a menu out on the street that was excellent English, and that's what we'd seen on the internet too. They had a website in English. The English seemed to be really good. Definitely seemed to be English friendly. You could just look at the menu and see everything that was on there and point to what you wanted, and, you know, no problem at all. So that was great. You know, really impressed with the outside menu. Went inside, ordered dinner, spent 6,000 yen, which is about $60. Because, you know, Hakuba is a bit expensive, and bought dinner for the family. And then while I was waiting for them to cook it, I started speaking to the staff member, and she spoke excellent English. So I told her, you know, we're from English Friendly Japan. You know, I've been checking you out on the internet. You guys seem really good, you know, and you're interested in foreign customers. Oh yeah, well, Hakuba, we get lots of foreign customers, she said. And I said, well, that's great. And I gave her my little pack of English Friendly stickers and business card and so on, and gave them to her, and I said, well, I'm taking this video and I'm going to show it to our viewers, you know, and our viewers, you know, if they come to Hakuba, they might want to come and eat some of your Mexican food, which was excellent, by the way. It was really, really good. So it was all great. She was great to talk to. The place was 100% English friendly, 3 stars, you know, and it was all great. Made the video and ate the dinner. The food was excellent. And made a really good video, because the lighting in that place we stayed was really good. And made a really good video. So I sent the video, made the video, and then sent it, put it on YouTube unlisted so nobody could see it, and sent it to the owner of the Mexican place and said, made this video about your restaurant. I'm about to release it, but before I do, you might want to just make a free listing on the English Friendly directory, so that when we release the video, we can put a link underneath the video, so that people are coming to Hakuba can come, you know, find your restaurant. And didn't get an answer. And then about a week later, sent the same email again, and then got an answer. And, oh, I'm sorry, I was busy, and I'll do that. And then, you know, another week or two passed, and, you know, the video is still on YouTube, and another week or two passed, and sent him another email, and it was weeks. You know, you guys remember those Huckabee videos. I mean, it was only recently I finally gave up on this guy, and just sent him an email and said, yeah, no, sorry. You know, because our thinking is, we made it really clear to him that he didn't have to pay anything, and that, you know, all he had to do was take 5 minutes to put a listing on the directory. Our thinking is, if people treat us like that, then they might treat you guys like that. It makes us nervous, right? But, you know, what happens if that's how he treats us? What happens then if a customer has bad service or bad food or something and tries to contact him to try and sort it out? You know, what sort of response are they going to get? Is it going to be similar to this? So just sent him an email and said, no, sorry, you know, we're just going to cancel that video, we're going to delete that video. And he wrote back, oh, I'm really sorry, I've been so busy, and all these excuses, which isn't true, because Huckabee is way not busy at the moment, and all these excuses. And I just wrote back and went, no, sorry, we can't accept your listing on the directory now. We're going to delete the listing, and best of luck to you, you know. But the purpose of this video is, I mean, for some of you it's just a sort of an interesting cultural thing. It'd be surprising to some of you because, you know, Japanese people have a reputation of being so polite, but in some cases like this, it feels quite the opposite, you know. But just why is it, you know? Why is it that Japanese people don't want to deal with us? Well, some of you might remember, like years ago, I contacted the Japan tourist organization, right? And I sent an email to one of the bosses and he didn't answer. I sent another one, he didn't answer. So I sent an email to someone below him, and I said, I'm a bit surprised your boss hasn't been answering my emails. And she said, oh, he's a bit shy about talking to foreigners, right? Okay. The guy's one of the bosses of the tourism organization. He doesn't like talking to foreigners. He's too shy to talk to foreigners, right? So that is we've talked about shy boys before. You get 40-year-old shy boys here, you know, 50-year-old shy boys who are socially awkward, basically, don't like talking to people. So that's probably one reason that you know, some Japanese business owners don't talk to foreigners, is they're embarrassed, or they're shy, or they're socially awkward, or for some other reason. You know, quite often you'll find the staff can quite happily talk to you, but the boss doesn't want to. And that was a bit like what happened at that hamburger place, at the American diner thing. It was like that. The staff were friendly and chatting in Japanese, and it was all good. And he could hear those conversations, but he just didn't want to be a part of it. So it's possible he's a shy boy. That can be one reason. Another reason can be cultural difference as well. They just find foreigners too difficult to deal with. You know, that they don't know how to communicate with foreigners, even if they're Japanese. Even if the foreigners speak Japanese pretty well, quite often culturally, you know, they'll just feel uncomfortable. Another reason is that anything new can freak people out if they haven't done it before. That's the difference in the reaction we get when we talk to them about the English friendly thing, is that the foreign business owners, the expat business owners, will say, oh, that's a good idea, I haven't heard that one before, give that a go. That's a common response. But the Japanese response, and this is quite often the email we'll get too, they will send them an email, and quite often the response will get, we haven't done that before, we'll get back to you. And then you never hear from them again. Because the Japanese thinking is, oh, we haven't done that before. And we talked recently on a video about being scared of making mistakes. Well, if you do something that you've never done before, you don't know if it's a mistake, do you? And so that's a really common response. If a Japanese person says to you, oh, never done that before, there's a pretty good chance they'll never do it. They will never do it either. Because it's like, oh, in their mind, it's something I haven't done before. Oh, geez, that might not be good. Better not do that. And that's why things don't change in Japan, right? Because people don't want to do something they've never done before. Let's do what we always do, right? We'll just do what we always do. We won't try anything new because we haven't done that before. So that's probably a big reason for that as well. What else did I have? A little list of them here. Oh yeah, just don't want the foreign customers. You know, that's quite often the case too. You know, there are places. I mean, this is like an urban myth that there's lots of businesses in Japan that have signs out the front that say no foreigners. It's a bit of a myth that there's a lot of them, but they do exist. They do exist. There are businesses around Japan that have signs on the front door saying no foreigners. And that could be because they've had bad experiences with foreigners in the past. You know, maybe a couple of foreigners on holidays have got there and drank too much and got out of hand and misbehaved or something, or whatever reason. They're just racist, or they just, whatever reason, they don't like foreigners and they just don't want foreign customers, basically. We've actually had reactions like that from people who do have some English on their website. Not decoration English, but like an English page on their website, and yet when we talk to them, they're really not that keen for foreigners. It's a bit like the Mexican restaurant guy. He seemed a bit like that. He just wasn't enthusiastic at all about getting more foreign customers. Usually that's our first question. You know, well, sometimes we ask if the staff speak English, but then, you know, are you interested in more English-speaking customers? And it's not uncommon for them to say no. So, anyway, it was a bit of an interesting one. Maybe it was interesting. Hopefully, there was something in all that was interesting to somebody. But it's just a mix of cultural stuff in there, isn't there? So if you come to Japan and somebody doesn't want to deal with you, don't take it personally. They'll have their reasons, whatever they are, you know. So anyway, there it was. More videos coming soon.